So what's good, everybody? It's Crazy Jay, and I'm back. And I wanted to make another podcast. I just did my interview with Makai, and it's probably not the best interview. I'm trying to learn. So the only way to learn is to make content and post it and learn from it, right? But I got a new camera today. It's an Acer 4K camera, and I could see that I look so much better. So I wanted to make another episode and try it out with this camera and see how much better it looks. And I look so much better. Like, I could see it. So I just wanted to talk about a little about the interview and just say that, I am still learning. I am still growing in this podcast thing, and it's going to take me time to get better. So everyone who's watching my videos and listening to me, please just be patient with me. Just keep giving me a chance to get better, because I know I can. I feel like I have a calling to do this, and I feel like that I'm going to get a lot better at this as time goes on. I am not afraid to talk. It's just, I've never done stuff like this before. So me trying to do this, I'm learning. And I can't get over how much better I look with this camera. This camera's great. Like, it's a pretty cool little easy camera. Just hook it into my computer, and it's just so much better. Like, I've noticed the cameras on the computers, man, they're just not that great. Like, the cameras are just not, they're just not good cameras. Like, you would think an iMac, they would put a good camera in, like, the phones, like the iPhones. Like, I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and my camera is phenomenal. Even the front-facing camera that I use to do the Makai interview, because I did it from my phone, which is the first time I've ever recorded on this platform on my phone. And it was a little confusing because during the recording, it said uploading the whole time. So I was a little confused with that. I didn't even know if it was working. And I'm so far away from the phone that I have to learn how to maybe get a controller, so I can, like, do stuff with the phone when I'm not, like, a Bluetooth remote. I have to see if they have that. Maybe I could get something for when I record from my phone. I know they have those selfie ones that you could do stuff with your phone to record and stuff. I have to check it out. So I just wanted to, just say that, like I said, it might not be the best interview, but I did it. And I actually had fun doing it. It was cool sitting there talking to Makai, and I appreciate him taking time out of his day to come and just do that with me, people have to take time out of their lives to sit down for an interview, So even if it's just what it was just us sitting there just talking about things, I want to do interviews on here. I want to, talk to people, get to know them better, find out things about them, like I watch interviews on YouTube, and they're pretty cool. Obviously there's more famous people than other other people. I don't know if I'll ever have anybody on that's famous. That'd be really cool if I did. Yeah, having somebody on that's famous, or interviewing multiple famous people would be pretty cool, and I hope I get there. I'd love to. I hope that maybe the right person sees my video and they're like, yeah, I'm going to have this guy interview me. Like, I would love to do that, because this podcast is about life. It's about recovery and life. That's what I created it for. And I really can't get over this camera, how much better, like, I look. Like, it's just so clear. It's very crisp. It's like, oh God, I love it. I love my new camera. I got other stuff coming, and I'm going to keep trying to up my podcasting game with more equipment to get better, quality podcasts out of what I'm doing. So today I wanted to talk about the AA promises. So I'm going to read them first, and I'm going to read the promises. The AA promises: if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, which is a big word in recovery, serenity. And we will know peace. I know peace. I have a lot of peace in my recovery. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows, which is true. You do. Self-seeking will slip away. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. These promises do happen in recovery. There's not an order for them. That's just the way they wrote them. So, like, a lot of these already have happened for me. I don't like the feeling of uselessness and self-pity. I had a lot of self-pity in the beginning of my recovery, and the uselessness to be here, because I feel like when when you feel uselessness, especially in active addiction, you use it to cover up that uselessness. Like, I didn't feel like I was worth anything. I felt very, very unloved. My ex-wife, I didn't feel loved me. My mom, my stepfather, my family, I felt like I wasn't loved by anybody. I didn't have anybody to love me. So I felt like I was very useless. Like, when you feel useless, man, that's a damper mentally, because you don't feel like you're worth anything, because you feel useless. Like, I felt like my self-worth was just bare minimum. I didn't care about myself at the time. So I just figured, I'm only hurting myself in my using, I'm not hurting anybody else. When we use, we don't realize who we're hurting. Like, you hurt so many people around you and you don't even realize it because you're so centered about yourself, right? You hear this all the time when using, I'm only hurting myself. I'm not hurting anybody else. Yes, you are. If you have kids, you're hurting your kids, especially if you're not there. A lot of us addicts aren't there for our kids, and we don't realize what they're going through. Or like when you hurt your wife when you're not there, or your husband when you're not there for your spouse. Like, I was probably hurting my ex-wife in the beginning, because I know in the beginning my ex-wife was not an addict. I mean, I'm guessing she always was an addict, but she didn't use. Like, she was such a great mom to our kids. I was the one using. Like, she was mentally hurting me, and that's where that uselessness comes from, in the self-pity. She made me feel that way about myself a lot, that I was useless and I'm not worth anything. So I would run out and use because I didn't know how to deal with what she was doing. I don't know if she was doing it because she loved me or what she was doing, so that was a big part of when I was using the uselessness, man, and self-pity, and they did disappear. Like, I feel useful now. I don't have that self-pity that I had when I was using. Like, it's not there anymore. Let's see. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Yes. So when I was using, man, I feel like I was the most selfish person in the world. It was all about Chris. It was all about me, 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 me. Today, it's not about me. It's about everybody else. Like when I'm at work, how can I help somebody at work get through their day? Like, what if somebody at work's having a bad day? I want to be there to help them to make it, make their day better if I can. I want to, if one of my kids are having some kind of day, I want to be there as their father to guide them and help their day get better. I talk to my youngest son a lot about things, and he's going through stuff because he's only 16, and he's confused now because that's that age. I know when I was 16, I was confused. So at 16 is like, I feel like the confusing age, So me trying to do what I'm supposed to do and help people then be what I was just, being selfish is not in my vocabulary anymore. I'm not a selfish person. I was only selfish in my using because when you're so wrapped up in addiction, you are so selfish. It's just all about you. Like, you don't care who you hurt to get the next fix. You don't care who you hurt that when you steal from them. You don't care who you hurt if you rob somebody. Like, you don't care who you hurt when you go to jail. Some people go to prison their whole rest of their lives because of addiction. It's not about you. And in recovery, it's not about me in recovery. My recovery is everything, but I can't be selfish in recovery. Like, I have to give recovery away to receive it. Because if you keep recovery all to yourself, you're not going to recover. You're just holding on to something that you need to keep giving away. That's why they say you have to give it away to receive. You do. If you don't give your recovery away, you don't receive it, Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Yeah, my whole attitude and outlook upon life has changed. I have such an open-minded look on life now. Like, I enjoy things more now than I did when I was using. I had a hard time enjoying life when I was in active addiction because I was so miserable. I was very, very miserable. Like, now I think about it, I was not happy with my life. I was not happy with being inside my own skin. I felt very different when I was growing up. I felt like I was not a person that could have good things, and I grew up poor. I didn't grow up rich. So, having the things we had was good, but mentally my mentalness was bad, and drugs and alcohol made me think differently. It made me more sociable. It made me more outgoing. I'm very outgoing now. I'm an outgoing person in general, but I suffer from, a lot of anxiety. So the drinking covered a lot of that anxiety up. So the self-seeking definitely has slept away. Like it's gone. Like I don't have that anymore. My whole attitude and outlook upon life will change, and it has. Like I have such a more positive outlook on life now. I never did. My whole outlook on life was negative, and then I would fill the negativity with drugs and alcohol to, I guess, have the outlook that I have now without the drugs and alcohol. If that makes sense. I mean, people aren't going to get it what I'm saying. Maybe if they're an addict, they are. Everybody's perspective of life is different. My whole attitude and outlook upon life has changed in such a positive way that I want to be more than what I was. I want to give back to what I can. That's why I created this podcast, because I want to talk about things that people need to hear. I want people to comment things. So there's things that I want, some things I want people to tell me what they want to hear, so I could talk about it. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. Yeah, like managing money. I didn't know how to manage money. I would get money and I'd go spend it on the next fix. I think that's a big one, man. How, like you get money and when you're using and you go run through it, like basically I would, if somebody gave me $20, it's not going to last. And then another thing was I would ask people for money. I would lie to people and say, I needed money for this. I've done it to one friend of mine that I thank God he forgave me, but I would tell him things all the time and he would always give me money, and then I wouldn't use it for what I said I was using it for. I was lying to people. I would lie to people to get what I needed to get high. And I don't have to do that today. Like I'm not saying I have a lot of money, but like if I'm asking somebody for money for something, it's actually what it's for. Like I'm not telling people, like, oh, I need this for this or this for this, and then I'm not using it for that. Like just these promises, man. Like that, let's see, where's another one? Fear of people and economic conspiracies will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which is baffle us. Yeah. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. My higher power is working for me every day. And my higher power is the one that told me to start doing this. In my using this, I would have been scared to do this. I would have been scared to just sit in front of my computer and talk and record myself and then post it for people to listen to, because I didn't feel like I have a voice like I do now. Like God wants me to get my voice out there. God wants me to help people. I want to be someone who people can talk to about recovery. People want to ask me like what I've been through. I'll tell them. I've shared my story. I'll keep sharing my story. These promises, man, they weren't just written to be something that they just wrote for people to just look at. They actually happen in your life, but you have to work for these promises. Like they don't just magically, the promises, I've heard people in recovery say, oh, these promises aren't even working for me. And they've had time sober. I knew someone that had over a year sober and they weren't working. I knew someone that had a couple years sober and they weren't working, because if you're not working the program, for one, these promises aren't going to happen. You can't get sober and live the same way. You just can't. If you get sober and live the same way that you're living when you were using, you're just not using, nothing's going to change. The promises are not going to happen because you're still living that same life. You're just not putting drugs and alcohol in your body. So this is what I was trying to say with recovering, okay? So, yes, we stopped. Say I stop using right now, today. Today was my first day. Now, today's going to be a bad day because it's my first day sober. I'm going to be feeling some type of way. I might be thinking about using, but I'm not, okay? And then you're going to go to meetings, and then you're going to get your 30-day chip if you stay sober for 30 days. And you're going to start feeling better, and then 60 days is going to come and 90 days is going to come. But if you're still not changing anything, so if you don't change anything in those first 90 days, you're still going to feel what you were feeling 90 days before that. You're just not going to have alcohol and drugs in you. You're going to feel miserable, okay? Then you could get a year, because this happens a lot. People get a year and then they go back because the first year, they didn't do anything. They just went to meetings. They didn't listen. They didn't get the message that you get when you go in the room. When you're in the rooms, man, there's a message that people say. When people share their story, they share things in the meeting about their day. There's always a message, and a lot of people can relate. And, if you're just sitting there and you're not listening and you're just kind of going with the emotions and you're not changing your brain to think different, you have to start thinking different in recovery. You got to start thinking more positive. You can't keep thinking negative. You got to be positive in recovery. If you're still negative in recovery, then why are you sober? Because negativity is what led us to being addicts. We were so negative and miserable in our own head that drugs and alcohol covered up that miseryness, like it took it away. It covers it. But if you don't change nothing, because I've heard people in 3 months say the promises aren't happening. Like 3 months is way too early for the promise to happen anyway, I feel like. I mean, maybe it does happen for some people. Didn't happen for me. Promises didn't start happening for me for a couple of years in. But I started changing me as a person. I started changing the way I think, changing my attitude, changing my persona on life, looking at things in a perspective that I didn't look at them before, like not trying to hate on every little thing, and like being so miserable all the time is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of work to just stay miserable. And drugs and alcohol, man, they take so much from you. Like, they take time from you. They can take your kids from you, your marriage from you, their family. Like we just don't see when we're using the destruction that we cause. Yeah, I always thought too, like, oh, it's just me. I'm hurting myself. I'm not hurting anybody else. No, I was hurting a lot of people. I just didn't see it because I was stupid. I was blinded by alcohol and drugs, And today I'm not. I'm not blinded by alcohol and drugs. I hopefully will never be blinded by alcohol and drugs again. Hopefully my eyes will be wide open. And then I can always see what's going on. My life is so much better today than it was 9 and almost a half years ago. Actually, the 19th month, I'll have 9.5 years sober. 9.5 years sober. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I just say. Yeah, pretty good. So my clapping thing ain't working. I don't know what's going on. It's going on after. I don't know why. That's weird. Anyway, 9.5 years, baby. Say, I don't know what's going on with the clapping thing. I don't know. That's weird. I like the little sound effects that I have here. Like, let's see if this one works. Oh, it'll probably work after. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it's okay. I'm not here to do just sound effects. I'm here to talk. Yeah, sobriety is a fun thing, man. I have fun in sobriety now. I laugh a lot more. I just enjoy life so much more. I want to be successful. I wanted to be successful for a while. I wanted to be successful when I was younger. I wanted to be successful with art. I think it just passed me by, and I'm just getting older, and my drawing isn't as good as it used to be. So I don't know if that'll ever happen. That's why I want this podcast to happen. Like, I feel like I got to keep making the right content, and God will keep showing me what I'm supposed to do. It's definitely talk about recovery. I'm going to get my peer recovery books out. And I think, a couple podcasts I'll read out of, like, some stuff, and I'll just talk about it. I want to do an episode about that. Yeah, the promises, man, they're just really good. Like, are these extravagant promises? We think not. And I know what meaning that's how we say it. We'll read and we'll go, are these extravagant promises? And we go, we think not. And we say it loud and proud. You know why? Because they're not. Because they happen. You can't make them out. You can't make the promises happen either. Like, you can't rush. It's like trying to rush perfection. Like when you're making a cake, if you rush it, what happens? The cake isn't cooked all the way. It's like with food. If you rush something you're cooking, you're not going to cook it all the way, and it's not going to be edible. You can't rush the laundry. I don't know why I use that analogy. The laundry. I guess you can, if you wanted to. I mean, you might throw your clothes in a dryer and then take them out too early. They're not going to be dry, obviously. I mean, you can go hang them on the clothesline. I remember doing that when I was younger. No, man, the promises, man, yes, they haven't all happened in my life, but at least half of them have. I haven't had them all happen. But the big ones have happened for me, like fear of people and of economic insecurity. I don't really understand that. Fear of people I understand because, you get scared. I think I still have that because of my anxiety that I suffer from. I deal with social anxiety. It happens a lot when I'm out. Like, I get uncomfortable in myself, and to this day, I still don't know why it happens. The anxiety is horrible. I want it to go away. I hate having it. And I'm hoping one day it will, but it just, some of these I just, like that one I really never understood when I would read this. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. That one I totally understand. That's your higher power working for you. Like my higher power has told me, Chris, do the podcast. I wanted to do this like 7 years ago. I only had, like 2.5 years sober. I remember going to a meeting, a guy in there told me I had a great radio voice. And then I was like, oh, I can't ever get on the radio. Like, I'm never going to be on the radio. So even if I have a great radio voice, how am I getting on the radio? And then there's this magazine called The Grapevine in AA. It's a really good magazine. I've read it a couple times, and it's different every month, or every three. It might be every 3 months. I'm not sure. I just know that it's called The Grapevine, and it's a lot of stuff that goes on in recovery. It was started, I think, like 1960 something, possibly. It's been around for a long time, and I remember seeing something about meetings online, which I do them online. You do them right on your computer, so you don't have to worry about, if you're like nervous to go in-person meetings, which are recommended, by the way, because it's good to be around people, like real people, but when you do them online, you're surrounded by people through your screen, but you're still doing a meeting, so it's good, but in-person are definitely better. In-person meetings are definitely the way to go. But yeah, I remember seeing this thing, and it said something about podcasting. Like, I guess when podcasting started getting kind of big, I wanted to take a sip of my drink. So basically, it said something about doing podcasting, and I was like, podcasting? And I didn't even know what podcasting was. So I looked into it, and I was like, that would be cool. Because I wanted to make content on YouTube for even longer. I wanted to make content on YouTube when I was using. Like, I wanted to make content on YouTube for a long time. I was always scared to do it. I was never, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to go about like what I should make or what I should be. I still don't. I just know I could post my podcast on there and people could watch it on YouTube, and I could put shorts, and I'm hoping that the right people see my videos and they watch it and they're like, yo, this guy's got something. Like, there's something here with this guy. I don't know what it is, like, I'm hoping that happens because, the podcast thing was definitely an idea, and I was like, I could do that. But then I didn't do it until like a month ago. Like, I just kind of put in the back of my head, I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then time just kind of went by, COVID happened. I got money for COVID. I could have bought all the stuff then and started doing it, but I was scared. Like, I was scared to do this because I was afraid what people were going to think of me. Like, now I don't care what people think. I mean, I do, like, listen, and maybe I'm saying that in the wrong way. I care what people think about me as a person because I am a good person. So I don't want people to like think of me as a jerk, because I'm not a jerk. But what I mean by not caring is I want to be who I am. I want to do what I want to do, and I don't want to sit here and care if people are going to judge me for what I'm saying, like how I'm being. I want to do this because I need to do this. And I want to be like, I've seen people online, like this one guy seen me, and he, like I said, he was standing in a concert hall in front of thousands of people, and he's talking about God and about recovery. I'm starting to see a lot of recovery stuff online because it's something that needs to be talked about. There's a lot of people out there struggling with this problem, with addiction, who don't want to go to meetings, and they don't know where to turn, and they don't know what to do because recovery is so different nowadays. I mean, peer recovery, when I took that course and found that you can still use in sobriety, it just depends on if you can control it or not. I was like, what? Like, me personally, I can't do it. I can't have a beer because one beer is going to turn into I don't know how many beers. I can't go out and do opiates because I'm going to die. I don't want to be somebody that's still trying to use. I can't smoke weed because I have panic attacks, and it causes panic attacks. So I can't do weed. So you know what? I just don't do anything. And that's my choice. I guess it's basically saying everybody has their own choice. That basically, you can still use if you can control it to an aspect. You can still say you're in recovery, but you're trying to control. It's weird. When I do the peer recovery stuff, I'll explain more because it's in the book. It's hard to explain right now because I'm not looking at the book. I'm just explaining some of it. But, recovery, man, is so magical. Like, if anyone out there who listens to this is in recovery, please share with me what you're going through. I want people to start commenting on my videos who see them, because I'm hoping that people who are actually watching this, besides people who are not are people in recovery, and they get something from what I'm saying, and then I could get comments, so then I could be like, oh, maybe there's more things I need to talk about that I'm not talking about, And I'm hoping the promises are happening in your life today. Like, I hope these promises are happening. I'm going to read them again just to reread them. So people who maybe jumped in, I want to reread them again one more time because they're really good. The AA promises, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. And you will be amazed. You will absolutely be amazed in the way you feel when these promises start happening for you. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. And let me tell you something. I know a new freedom. Freedom from drugs and alcohol. I actually have a life today. I have a new happiness, man. I wasn't happy. So that new happiness thing to me means you're actually happy finally, because I was not happy. I was so just miserable, just miserable. And I'm not like that today. I have that new happiness because I'm happy. I'm actually happy today. Like my life means something today. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. So that to me is saying we will. So I don't regret the past. The past is what made me who I am now. And I will never shut the door on it because if I don't remember the past, remember the things I went through when I was using, I will not stay sober. You know, I know how there are people out there that say, "Oh, I don't want to remember what happened. I want to forget what happened." No, you always have to remember. It's part of you. It's part of your DNA. You know, when you get sober, you have to remember the past. Like, and you know what I mean? You can't regret the past. The past is what made you where you are now. It's making you into a recovering person. So the past, you don't want to shut the door on it. Keep it open. Doesn't mean you have to live in it. Don't live in your past. Don't let your past define who you are now, but always remember it. I remember my past. I didn't shut the door on it, but I don't live in it either. I just let it stay over here. So here's the past. It stays right there. It's there, but it's not here. You get what I'm saying? The past is there. It's not here. I don't want it here. I want it there. It needs to be where it needs to be because it needs to still be part of me because it is a part of me. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. Yes, serenity means peace. You know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So serenity prayer, you know, like God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So there are things in life that I cannot change that are going to happen in my sobriety. And I'm asking God to grant me the peace to deal with what happens. You know, like you can't change what's going to happen. Like there's things that happen now that I can't change. You know, like my personal life, I have things going on that I can't change and they're happening. And I'm hoping they're happening for a reason and a good reason. You know, God grant me strength to accept things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can though. Okay. So basically you're asking God to give you the courage to change the things you can. So there's things you can't change and there's things you can change. You could change your personality and make you as a person better. You know, so you have to learn how to grow as a person in recovery. You know, that's a really good one. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. Now, to me, that's saying your story, you know, like I went down the scale. I went down pretty far, you know, to my bottom. And now we will see how our experience can benefit others. So that's basically, to me, it's saying that I'm sharing my story with people to help them benefit in their recovery and their life better. So they're going to hear what I have to say and they're going to benefit from it because someone in a room or that I'm talking to online might have went through what I went through. Okay. And now they're benefiting from hearing what I went through, like how I benefited from people's stories that I heard that I was like, well, like, meetings are great because you'll go on a meeting and someone will share and you might have been going through that feeling today. That's what's good about meetings. That's what I need to realize. Meetings are good to help you on a daily because you might be going through something right now in this moment in time. And then you go to a meeting and you're still going through it. And then someone shares something that they went through today and you're like, wow, I feel like that right now. I'm not the one that feels like that. Wow. You know, or you might go to a meeting that's their story meetings where someone will come in and they'll share their story. I've done it and I did it at a rehab in PA with my sponsor years ago. It was great. A lot of people came out to me and thanked me for sharing it. That's what I'm talking about. I shared my story with somebody and somebody got something. Now maybe someone won't make the same mistakes that I did on my behalf and I can benefit other people. So I can help people with my story. Someone can benefit from me. I just have to get that out. It's a good thing. You know, and I that's one of my favorite ones in here in the promises. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit us. That's all I ever wanted to do. When I got sober, I said it. I had to think a month sober. And I said, all I want to do is help people. I didn't have that much sobriety time. And yes, I did. But my whole persona of life was changed in a month because I was like, I want to help people. And that's why I kept staying sober, I think. In my first 7 months that I've shared that my first 7 months, man, it was tough. You know, it was very tough for me to stay sober because I just was not mentally there yet, you know, but what mentally kept me was wanting to help people because I started seeing the change a little. Each month I started seeing a change in myself, you know, and I wanted to keep growing as a person. So I was like, all right, I'll stay sober today, you know, and then today turned into a year. But my whole thing in the beginning was I wanted to help people. I wanted to. I tried starting a meeting upstate New York. I almost had it, but then I moved back to Jersey. But I almost did start a meeting, man. I almost had an AA meeting going. That was real. That was cool. I was only a year and a half. So no, I was more. Yeah, I think I was about a year and a half when I tried doing it, because I know I was working. It prolonged. It just didn't happen, and then I wanted to move back to New Jersey, so I never got to do it. But that's okay, you know. Well, let's see. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. Yeah, man. You will start feeling useful once you have a lot of sobriety time. Like, your usefulness will come back. You won't feel so low down and unwanted and like you don't matter, because you do matter. You always matter. Even when you're actively using, you matter. You matter a lot, and you have to realize that. When you don't think you matter, man, it makes it harder to get sober, because, you feel like nobody gives a crap about you. But people actually do. There's a lot of people that give a crap about you. We just don't see it at the time. We're so blinded by drugs and alcohol. It sucks. It's like a vampire. Imagine a vampire sucking the life out of someone, and then they turn into a vampire. So that's like drugs and alcohol. It sucks the life out of us, and it turns us into what we become. And a vampire is probably a bad analogy to use, because usually either you stay a vampire, or you get the stake in the heart and you die, but it's just an analogy, maybe it's not the best one to use, but let's see. We will lose interest in selfish things to gain interest in our fellows. Yeah, so basically what that one to me was just saying that you lose interest in yourself. You're not all about you anymore. It's not just about you. It's not about me anymore, man. It's not about this guy. It's about the other person. It's about other people. It's about, helping people. Like, because when you get sober, man, and you start getting some time under your belt, you want to start helping people. You want to help other people. You want to say hi to people. You want to hug people. You want to love people. You love people in the rooms. You want to have somebody have a good day so they stay sober. Like, you want to give away what you have every day, because it helps you grow as a recovering addict, alcoholic. It's amazing. That is another good one, man. That is such another good one. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. That is such a good saying in his promises. That's 2 out of them that are my favorite. I love that one, because I never thought I could do that, and I did. You know what I mean? Self-seeking will slip away. Yeah, you're going to stop trying to be all about yourself. It's not about you. It's not just about you. That self-seeking will slip away. It does eventually. It might not in the beginning, but it does. It does go away. Your whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Yeah. My whole outlook and, my attitude have changed a lot in the last 9 years. And I'm so happy that they have, like, I just have a totally better outlook on life than I did when I was using and drinking. Man, I remember some of those times. I could think of them right now, and it's just like, wow, like, what was I doing? What was I doing? Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. Like I said, that one's a little confusing to me. Sometimes you don't understand everything. I don't understand everything, We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. Yeah, you'll be able to go in a situation and actually think about it. Like maybe not being a follower anymore and following people into the wrong path and doing things that you just don't want to do. Until we know how to handle situations used to baffle, like, I don't know, just things that I used to do compared to now. I would not do them now. I would definitely not do some of the things I used to do now. No way. I don't know, that one, which we had to handle. Yeah, I know how to handle situations definitely better. Certain situations than I did. Maybe not all of them, but there are certain situations I do know how to handle better. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Yeah, God is guiding me into this podcasting thing. Like I said, I said over 7 years ago I wanted to do this, and it took me 7 years to actually get on here and do it. And little by little, I'm trying to grow more stuff for it. I'm trying to get better at it. And I will. This will happen. It's just going to take some time. This is, I'm basically practicing, I guess, right now. And I appreciate everyone who's listening to me. I appreciate everyone who says it's good, that I'm hoping that someone's getting a message from what I'm saying. I really do, because that's the point. I want people to get something from what I'm saying. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing it to help me, because I'm giving recovery away. Like, by me doing this, I'm giving away what I need to give away today to stay sober today. So by me talking about recovery right now, I'm actually giving away recovery. And I feel pretty damn good about it. I feel amazing. I just can't wait to grow my podcast into something better, maybe eventually get a different background. I ordered a thing with my Crazy J's World logo. I'm going to try to hang it behind me and see if it'll work. I mean, I think I can. with my green screen I bought. I'm going to try this out because I'd like to just have my back. Because when I sit in my chair, I don't really go too far back. I mean, only if you're watching, you're going to see. Obviously, if you're listening to this on Spotify, you're not going to see what I'm talking about. But I might be able to do it because I'd like to have it in the background. If not, then you guys can see my room until I figure it out. I just got to keep doing this, Where was I? Your whole attitude and outlook on life will change. Fear of people and economic security. Oh, yeah, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Yes. I'd like to know in the comments, man, people who watch this, doesn't matter if you're in recovery, you don't have to be in recovery. If you believe in a higher power, if you believe in anything, comment on this video when you say it, what you think God is doing for you right now. Like, I want to know. If you don't believe, I get it. Then you're obviously, you're not going to write because God's a hard thing to believe in for people because you can't see him, but God is always around you. God's here whether you want to admit it or not. I'd like to read comments on what people think about that one. I'm going to read it again. Okay? We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. So I want you to write in the comments, what is God doing for you right now that you could not do for yourself? Because I really want to know. I'm curious. I know what God's doing for me right now. And then it says, are these extravagant promises? We think not. And they're not. They're not extravagant. They're just promises that happen in when you just do your thing, man. They're being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. You just got to keep working for them. Keep working those promises. Yep. Just keep working them. No work. So, yeah, I'm glad I got to do this. So usually when I edit, I cut out a lot of the ums and stuff, but I'm going to stop doing that. I want everyone to actually just hear the whole thing. It cuts out my clapping, so which I don't know why that wasn't working. It's whatever, I just wanted to come on here and try out my new camera, and I wanted to make another podcast, and I wanted to talk about promises because there's something good to talk about, And I just want people to leave some comments so I could read them. So I could see, if there's things you guys want me to talk about recovery, like give me some topics you want to talk about. I'll start reading the comments and I'll try to start coming up with different topics, things I could talk about, this way I can have different things to talk about. So I want to thank everybody for supporting me who has been supporting me. Please subscribe, please subscribe to Crazy J's World on YouTube, comment and share. Please share my content because supposedly, I guess the more you share, the more it gets out there and people see it. I want people to start seeing this because if people don't see it, then what is the point? What am I doing it for? If people aren't listening, then why am I sitting here? I wasted money on this platform that I spent a lot of money on, my camera, all the stuff I got coming. Like, I'm going to get more stuff. What is the point of doing it if people aren't listening? So if you share it, it gets out there. I need views, I need shares so I can start getting this out there. I get it. My videos aren't flashy. It's a podcast, and I'm going to make them flashy because I'm going to try to make, more things. I'm going to go live on here too because I didn't want to go live on YouTube yet, really, because I don't have that many people who follow me or subscribe to me. So if even I go live, people aren't really listening. They're not going to be in there when I'm live, and then I'm just going to sit there and have nobody to talk to. I mean, I could talk, so I could do it. Maybe I will. Maybe next week I'll try it. Maybe I'll start going live on YouTube because I can live stream. It's right here. I could just hit live stream, and I could live, baby. I can go live. I'd like to. Everything's not working. I don't know why. Oh, now it's working. Well, after. It doesn't usually do that. So I don't know, guys. But yeah, I'm going to end this episode now. And I just want to, thank everybody who's been listening to me. And I'm going to come up with some more topics and I'll talk about more recovery and life and stuff. And then maybe I can get another interview in. I'll see somebody else wants to come on and I'll talk to them. I'd like to talk about someone, maybe a female, about relationships. See their perspective on relationships instead of a guy, I want to have different people on. So I'd like to do that, have maybe my next interview about relationships and try that one out. See how that one goes. I don't know. But I'm going to end it with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Amen. Keep up. Just keep being positive. Stay positive. Stay focused. Stay nice to each other. We got too much hate in the world. Hate's it's too much. I want to love. I want to be loved. So I love all you guys, man. And thank you for everyone who, like I said, has been supporting me so far. And I look forward to more of these. I got to learn how to use the Riverside thing a little more. There's a lot of things you could do on it that I haven't really messed around with yet. I just come on and record myself and post it. I got to start playing around a little more. I got to sit here and start messing around with it. It's pretty cool. Actually, it's pretty cool. My camera looks so much better. I can't get over how much better my camera looks. Yeah, like it's crazy how much better it actually looks. So, all right, guys, but I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.